p.m. Still on the Throwback Thursday on the Free FM Drive. My name is Giovani, Caleb, and DJ Faculty's been doing some music good for us, all right? My guest just walked in, dancing one. Also clad in black. I want to find out if that's Rashida's favorite color. I want to know. Rashida, is this your favorite color?
Back in the day, but the whole of my wardrobe was actually very dark.
No, stop it.
I love black clothes.
What?
I think it just symbolizes my inner person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, private, humble,
all
good
for black.
girl.
Yeah. When you showed up in black, and ladies and gentlemen, before I even continue with this conversation, just like you, I'm heavily disappointed that the whole CEO herself, Alaji's wife, Wachi Connoisseur, brought me tangerine,
a lollipop,
and chocolate.
And chocolate I did not even buy. I got it on a flight for free.
Oh, Yehovah. Rashida, please, why?
Sexy presents, innit?
Oh, wow. So you deprived us here of Wachi. I had promised my whole team that Rashida was bringing us Wachi.
Oh, today I'm in a suit now. Today I'm in a suit. I haven't been to the Wachi corner.
In fact, that brings me to my very first question. Yeah. You are a woman of many crowns, many hats, many suits. Sometimes here when you go apron, then we know it's Wachi talk. But when you get into the street, you are putting on many colors. For instance, your real estate company, then you become the media personality we all know, who started from ETV Awake. I remember us being colleagues. I talked about this earlier.
I know, right?
And then you're also into IT and a whole why? The question is not how, why?
I know, right? Overly ambitious, isn't it?
Yeah. How do you do it?
Probably love for growth and impact in life, I would like to say. But I'm able to do everything effortlessly.
You must have probably a very solid team.
I have my team I do not joke with. I have a solid team at all times. I make sure I get the right brains for the right job. So it doesn't really get that difficult.
So it's not
Indeed, I've got to be ahead of it from the onset. But when it settles, I sort of pull away to think about other plans of growth.
So wait, you're not done?
I'm not done, actually.
Exploring other ventures?
But I'm beginning to feel weak in the knees. I don't know if I'm done yet. So I think I'm gradually getting
not
there.
after the many accolades, many awards
I can be very
we hear.
sure about. I am going to have an early retirement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, soon.
You want to retire early?
Very
Has
early.
always been part of the plan.
So I can have, so while in my retirement, I'll be strong enough to enjoy what I've toiled for.
Yeah, let's look a bit about the background. Yeah. I mean, the transitioning from the media space, morning show host. Morning show host, early starter. Before some of us will come and be stretching and chilling by 10 a.m., you are done with TV. On to the next one.
Exactly. I think the morning show was pretty much a good startup for me in life. It made me very disciplined. I did not have problems waking up in the and we all know that when you wake up in the morning, you get things done very early.
That's right.
And this also birthed a few of the organizations I own today because I thought morning TV just closed pretty early.
Yeah.
10 a.m. is just so early a time to get back home to. So I sort of diversified and got into other things, which we will be talking about, I figure.
I really want to jump into it, but part of me also wants to congratulate you on the many things you've been doing.
Thank you.
I don't even know how to position this because your congratulation, I think, is coming a bit late because you have managed to deprive all of us the early days of the hustle. Now, all we are saying is the crown and the major applause and all that. We didn't even know that you've been doing all this for all these years, especially those of us who knew you from your journalism days. I thought you just decided to stop and go set a family and do other things.
No, people kept speaking to me. They said to me, look, do not leave a vacuum. You've got to tell your story, which I very much believe in as well. But I believe that there's time for everything.
That's right.
You can't tell your story when there are no pages to flip through. There's going to be a page 1 to page 100. You can't give it all out when you are not done with your plans yet. Wow. So I was just thinking that this is just the appropriate time, the divine time to be speaking about all we do.
Clearly, it goes beyond the smiles. You've had nights, sleepless nights, some pains, I presume, and some tears as well. It's not been a rosy path. Can you take us on from a bit of a background?
I believe, even the Holy Books preach that on a daily basis, it's going to be this challenging until we have lowered down in our grips. So there haven't been especially difficult moments I would like to catalog. But as an entrepreneur, I like to highlight that on a daily basis, there are challenges. As a matter of fact, I wake up in the morning anticipating challenges because I feel challenges sort of catapult you into successes because it gives you the navigational skills to be able to surmount problems, to be able to go through crisis management, to reposition you, to make yourself better. So I feel problems are actually supposed to be something every entrepreneur should anticipate on a daily basis.
Was this realization there before, or you had to force yourself to wake up to this reality after several failed attempts at
and
success?
The constant occurrences of challenges, you've got to get used to them. Challenges come in diverse stages. It could be challenges you have with your staff. It could be business challenges, policy challenges, internal, external challenges. In as much as you're in business, all of these are supposed to be expected.
That's right.
So I do not find challenges an inhibition for business growth.
That's right.
Not at all.
Wow. Well, in case you just joined us on the 3FM Drive, we are engaging with the CEO of the Ghana Reports. First off, congrats on that festival. I call it Job Festival, not a job fair.
Which
because
you were a very big part of.
This was like, what, two weeks of back-to-back?
I know.
Everything.
I know.
Like, wait, what birthed the idea? How did that happen?
If you take a look at Ghana Report, I think we have, as part of our corporate social responsibility, we've been engaged in one socially relevant activity after another. If you remember, during the COVID days, we actually gave colleague TV stations, radio stations and media establishments free PPEs.
Yes, true.
And for this, we thought we should be celebrating job acquisition. You know, we should make it easy for people to be able to seek jobs. So, right to the earlier point, we've always had a part of the portal that exhibits or speaks about job acquisition. We sort of assemble all available jobs on one. It's actually paid for on one section where we allow young people or potential job seekers to just go click and find available jobs they could just apply for. And as part of this, we thought we could just give it a bigger clarion call on the need to get the youth employed. Which necessitated the organization of the Ghana Report Jobs Fair, where we spoke to private sector organizations that were willing to meritoriously employ people, as well as public sector organizations that have always had clearance, but there's the usual phenomenon of if you don't know anyone, you might not even get a job. So once they gave us the nod and agreed to have stands, we said to them, well, this is not going to be the usual who you know or who knows you syndrome. We need you to employ these people, these young people, young job seekers meritoriously.
How many people?
And they agreed to that. We had quite a number of people, bigger than I actually anticipated.
Wow.
And the reason why we added on to it the entertainment bits was just because we thought, because we were dealing with, young people who might idolize some musicians, we should just bring them to serve as a call for everyone to come out to look for jobs, sort of an incentive to bring people out.
Plus, the creative economy. I mean, a lot of these young people equally.
I know. I
did
not anticipate the problems, the job crisis, the job seekers. I didn't know it had reached such a cancerous stage where people are not just supposed to be throwing their hands in despair. I thought I could contribute to it in a way of, throwing my support or our support on mitigating issues with jobs.
Do you have a rough number of people who benefited directly from this? Because even for me, who I was telling faculty about this, during the day it's like long queues there at the Independence, and I've seen some folks drawn from the security setup, the YEA, and a lot of them, and
private sector
they had their CVs there. It's like, well, Giovani, me, I did collect my interview for here now.
Well, the most important highlight of the whole of the jobs fair was the fact that we did not just bring people to submit CVs and get jobs. Practical, but might not necessarily entirely work that way. So we insisted on making people understand that we all were not just meant to be employed. Some of us are actually employers. So we sort of harnessed the skills in people. Many people have had so many potentials they didn't know about. We got people to get trained. There was something we called this rapid skill acquisition, where we had people in various resource persons in various establishments to come train people who would want to be soap making,
so it was just skills on the go.
So indeed, if you came with a CV and you did not get the chance to join a company, it was just a clear chance for you to also
start yours.
Start yours.
Wow.
And that was what happened. We've not necessarily tabulated everything yet, but I know thousands of beneficiaries have had so many good things to say about
it came at the right time too, especially when now that a lot of people, young people, are looking at beyond our shores to be the best choice for them. A lot of them want to Japan. Yeah, they want to Japan. And now that you're telling them that the jobs they Ghana. Maybe you are looking at the job because they find a job because you didn't realize you had the job.
Exactly,
you are the job.
You are the creator of the job.
You are the job. Maybe that's why you're not getting the job.
It's very important for people to give a critical eye to unconventional activities as well, or jobs.
That's right.
Those are actually the money cows. Actually, they are money-making ventures. There are so many money-making ventures. People have not just turned an eye to. Everyone just wants to. A government cannot possibly absorb all of us.
Wow.
It's impossible. So sometimes, I know it's quite difficult to start your own sometimes, but there are many lenses we could look at it through that will make life better for us as well as young people.
As a serial entrepreneur, you have I-ZAR Group, which I guess is a real estate one.
Yeah.
That's it?
Conglomerate, actually.
Everything.
I-ZAR Group has real estate, retail, and quite a number I sometimes forget about. When people ask me, the most difficult question I've had to answer was, what do you do? Lately, do you know what I say to people? Well, I'm so sorry, you might just have to Google. Google will remember everything.
Even Google is asking me to ask you.
Google will remember everything.
What?
So I actually manage about 5 organizations. I showcase just 2, which is I-ZAR and Alhaji's wife. Those are very easy to identify.
Ghana Report.
Ghana Report as well. There are quite a number in the background that are in good standing and kind of doing well as well. But there's just enough people can handle. Jack of all trade. It's just too much to manage.
Do you make time for yourself?
I very much do. And
what is a typical day in your life like?
Watching Bond movies.
No, stop it.
Listening to Hans Zimmer in my car and being happy and making my home as comfortable as possible to stay back at home and rest and be happy. So
is that why you are announcing? You're likely to announce early retirement because you're already living that dream.
I love to stay home as much as possible. I am a very
indoor person.
I am indoor. I love to be out there. I love loud music, indeed, as a young person. But I love to manage my life because if I'm going to the office when there's nothing, when there are things I could just do online, I would decide to save my fuel in the first place. In any case, when I was coming, I noticed I had a low fuel. I hope I don't trend this afternoon.
Rashida, you're also a lover of cars.
Yes, I do love cars. Very much.
Where from this love?
I've infected my son.
Oh no, stop it.
I'm thinking about starting a car show, as a matter of fact. I really love cars. I love car analysis. I love car reviews. I follow the Blondie. I don't know if you know her.
Oh yeah, the super car model Blondie. Okay, wait. Do you... What car do you drive currently?
Which day of the week?
Oh no, stop it.
Forgive me, that is rude.
I beg
Forgive me. That is
See me
rude.
asking poor man question. Sorry, let me rephrase
personal.
that question. Let me rephrase that question. I beg you.
Forgive me.
Let me rephrase
I
that
don't want to
question.
talk about cars. I want to inspire people to get out there and work. Look, young people, please do not buy a lot of cars. There are no investments. There are liabilities.
You have brought yourself. What? You have a specific car for each day of the week, 7 cars.
Please don't let
out
people
of the lot.
Don't let people cling onto this headline. No, I do not. That was just on the light side.
No problem. We'll skip that one.
Yeah.
we'll skip. But what's your preferred car?
Oh, I love all cars. I'm not particularly a fancy car lover.
Okay.
I love cars to the extent that I love to watch cars. I watch my own cars. You know, I invite friends over. They're in the living room with me. By the time they come out, I've washed their cars.
Oh, no.
I love cleanliness. So I love to wash your car the way you do not wash it. So,
That's interesting.
people who are very close to me very much know this about me. So it's not just the love to drive cars or to buy cars. I also just enjoy watching cars.
You mentioned
Even
you have
jalopies.
you mentioned you have a son.
Yes, I
How
have a
old?
son. He's 14.
Wait.
I have a wonderful son.
How many children do you have?
2. And my firstborn is almost my age.
No.
She's 19.
In height as well?
Yeah. Oh, no, she's taller than me. She's way taller than me. I started very early, so I'm very happy. At this stage, I consider myself a sister to them because they become advisors, they become my peers. We speak a lot. We are on a mature lane. And sometimes they just feel I treat them like children. They're no more children.
Like your son will say
So
no
I
to
feel
a
like it's
peg
that-
and say that, mommy, stop it.
I know, right? So I miss children in my home, actually, because we are all adults now, almost 40 years, almost an
Yeah,
adult by the power of the kind of education they have lately.
What are you finding out about your children now, especially their generation now, that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know. I didn't know this exists, so...
I think life has, they're more discerning by the power of technological advancements. You know, it's come with its merits and demerits, in as much as my children are not on social media.
Okay.
But I think life, in as much as I very much firmly hold that there are many more children who are deprived in many areas, who do not merit some kind of treatments, who do not merit what they are going through on a daily. I also feel that urban children have had life quite smooth. You know, they go to good schools, they don't sleep outside.
They're stressed about traffic.
They have Google,
Things that
and
stress them.
ChatGPT.
Things that stress them will make you go like, oh, wow, you are stressed about this.
Exactly.
About food choices.
Exactly. About food choices. In as much as there is no democracy in my home, actually, it's purely tyranny. You know,
Oh, no, stop it.
For these
You do
stages.
this.
But I am not so much a democratic parent.
I say, mommy,
now.
what are we having? You will have what I cook, oh.
Oh, no, they cook.
Oh, they cook?
Oh, me at this stage? No, my daughter won't eat the cook. No way. I've paid my dues. That's what I say to them.
Why are you giving me this typical African home vibe?
I know, right?
I love that. Well, your love for being the youth, and also being a mentor and an advocate for youth empowerment is not something we can easily hide, because it's all over. I mean, even your humanitarian side, I think you're more skewed towards the youth and maybe women, and those disadvantaged in society.
Exactly.
There is a long trail of some of the things you've done. For what is that to do with you? Is it that you had a life that now that you have been blessed, you've worked super hard to get here?
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? You people remind me of the hustle. I need to be giving back to society. Is that it?
I very much believe that you do not have to go through the trenches to understand what happens in the trenches.
Okay.
As far as you're in good spirit, practical, knowledgeable, and an adult. So I did not have to necessarily, I would confess, my childhood was a comfortable childhood. I didn't have to go through all of what I'm doing now. For the people I feel are disadvantaged, I didn't have to experience it to empathize. I didn't have to go through hunger to understand that there are so many people out there who cannot afford square meals. I am not also just particularly restricted to disadvantaged people. I also am in the circles of advantaged people who do not know they are advantaged. There are people who are very much, there's the saying in Chi that, when you are full, because I can't, exactly,
Yeah.
So it's more of bringing the attention of people who are disadvantaged and are not putting it to good use, as well as people who are not advantaged, people who are disadvantaged and need a way out of life. For me, it's just been a lifestyle, a passion. After business, what next? If you cannot if you cannot live a life of impact on people who have looked up to you all this while. So I think it's very important. And many organizations have adopted the style now, which is the reason why people will give so much out to charity. You think they have enough? No, because there's got to be impact. There's got to be substance. There's got to be a corporate social responsibility if you are a serious organization.
As a
Don't just make money.
As a young person, who's just started up your career or you're passionate? Well, these days a lot of people are making.
Can I feel
yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
So a lot of young people now are making money off their hustles, and you've been one of the voices to shout and echo this: commercialize your hobby, commercialize your hobby, whatever you're doing, you're passionate about, make money out of it. You've been drumming this, in fact, as long as I can remember. What is it that we are not doing, or what is that you've seen for yourself?
I'll give you a typical scenario, for instance. You know, we got to know each other in the corporate circles.
That's right.
When I conceptualized Alaji's wife, many of my friends could not come to terms with that. True. Not even my own children. True. I mean, seriously, you're going to be a watch seller? And the most painful one was, watch a wura.
Your children started in
I did, but people who were very close to me knew my culinary skills. People who were very close to me knew how much I loved to cook. When I receive visitors, the first thing I do is to go into the kitchen. This was imbibed into us by our mom, and I sort of loved cooking. And over the years, I have actually perfected, and I knew very much in line of duty that one day I was going to have a hospitality business. And so when I started it, so to speak, fast forward, people did not know what exactly was going to be happening. They thought it was just going to be the regular wache joint. Because even prior to starting it, there were about 10 wache sellers around the shop where we have situated the first branch of Alaji's wife. Right. But I knew there was going to be some sort of value addition that will separate us, that will give us some kind of competitive advantage, that will draw some kind of, because we had our kind of niche. And that exactly has happened. And I've had quite a number of people who've wanted to start up businesses come up to me to say, well, it's just because you had the money to start Alaji's wife. I said to them, look, you can start. I am not very much a fan of the usual rhetoric that would usually be packaged for people on, I started my business with 50 Ghana cedis last year, and today it's $1 billion. In as much as I believe them sometimes, maybe when we put it in context, For instance, a news item was done about me on Joy FM, and the write-up was a business mogul, blah, 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 starts her business with just a mobile phone. And I had people ask me, did you sell mobile phones as well? No, I had to tell them, look, typically people do not read the rest of the story. They just read the headline. Exactly. I said, no, I sat on my phone by the power of data or cheap data to conceptualize, to research, to put actions, to put
numbers to whatever you are. In fact, even type it down.
Exactly.
Say, notepad near.
Exactly.
I'm doing A. From A, I'm doing B.
To practicalize what I had learned academically.
Wow.
So this lady walks up to me and she tells me, well, I want to open a restaurant as well, but I just do not have the money. And you've come to open a restaurant already. I said, so what are you doing about that? She said, well, I'm just waiting for capital. I said, can you cook? Well, obviously, which is the reason why she's opening a restaurant anyway. I said, so start cooking for corporate women who do not have the chance to cook and close from work late. Cook, fill it up in their fridges and get paid for that. Over time, you're going to make money to be able, you can't start a papaya over a night.
True.
You can't start Alaji's wife over a night. True. No, there's got to be something that will cushion it to be able to stand firmly.
Wow. Chai! Well, in case you just joined us, we're having conversation on a Thursday right here on the 3FM Drive with the CEO of I-ZAR Group. She's also the CEO of Alaji's wife, and she's also into a lot of things.
Is there CEO in Wache too?
The chief.
Founder. She's also in the seller of Wache.
Because right now, now it's Alaji's wives, because 2 branches. So now it's not one wife. So she's also
actually making business. Business of the incorporation of business for many people difficult. The youth of today will come and say to me, I mean, quite a few people who have walked up to me, they'll come and say, what is your business model? What is what did you write to? They speak to you. It makes me believe, I mean, the context, if I may just agree with that, it makes me think that there's some sort of a written book that is supposed to be read and practicalized in business. And I say to them, look, business is dynamic. What works for you might not work for me. Even the holy books, our holy books, are diverse to are subject to diverse interpretations. So there can't be a book. Indeed, there can be acceptable practical norms of business setups and how you're supposed to grow and sustain growth when you get to the apex or actualize. But I do not subscribe to the belief that there's going to be some kind of business guide. What kind of book can I be writing about selling watches? I say to them, so I think we should invest in research, thinking, and so much more that will bring out the potential in us to be able to start businesses.
That's right.
As for the money bits, I do not wish to touch on that because so many people are
money as an excuse,
are waiting for money to start businesses, are waiting for money to start businesses. I keep saying to my kids, I said, look, even in the absence of anything, I feel I should be able to do anything legally or morally acceptable to be able to make money. If all just shut up today, Giovani, you told me to come and wash your family's clothes for money, for a daily bread, I will not hesitate.
Wow.
I say to them, God forbid, I do not like poverty, but I'm not scared of poverty because I know I would be able to go through it.
Can you share some lessons from your career journey with us? Some lessons.
Well,
maybe your top 2. Some lessons.
Each day is a lesson, but there are guiding ethoses in all businesses that's supposed to make it sustainable, that's supposed to make it grow. There are very easy ways of growing in business. Business is very easy to grow through, especially when you start on a very loud bank. In most cases, we've had businesses that way, and we've heard about businesses that way, and in no time, they shut.
Yeah.
So it critically tells you that it's very easy to get to the top. Sustenance has been the problem. So I love consistency. Not just consistency on doing what you do on a daily basis the same way. Consistency with value. Value addition is very good for business as well. You can't establish a business and think there'll be no one like you anymore and get complacent and fold your hands because you have all the people you need. You have an entire army of a customer base you're supposed to be comfortable with. It's just a matter of time to beat up the monopoly. So I believe in value addition. I believe in discipline. Discipline is quite diverse in all areas.
That's right.
If you say you're opening your shop at 7 o'clock, please open at 7 o'clock. If you say you're opening do not open at 7 if you're supposed to open at
maybe
least
before,
6:30.
earlier than that, yeah.
Maybe, sort of. So I think discipline, value addition, consistency is very important in business. And once you settle on one, don't think it's the end of life. I think it's very important for young people to also understand the concept of diversification in business. In all cases, we've been told by people who are where we are trying to get to that no single job or business would make you a millionaire.
Yeah.
There's got to be a multiple streams of income. I have always been a proponent of that. So it makes me overly ambitious. But people say to us that, you have to put your eggs in different baskets. So I very much accept that is diversity. I am also, on the other hand, a proponent of focus in life. In as much as we believe that you can put your eggs in different baskets because you want to reduce risk, I am a firm believer also of the fact that you can put all your eggs in one basket and keep an eye on the basket. It's called focus in business.
Wow.
So in all cases, there's no direct reason why you should diversify because people are diversifying. There is no direct reason why you should not diversify because people are not diversifying. In all cases, it's just so dynamic, and that's one thing I love about entrepreneurship.
Some of these nuggets you're sharing with us, these are things people would pay for consultancy, but we're getting this for free on the 3FM drive. This is how empires are built, and we are grateful that you get to share some of this with us for free.
Thank
you also come across as one who is highly connected. At the very, very top. I mean, your last event you did, not the last, one of your recent events, you brought the head of states together, some head of states together, some key personalities together. And a lot of people say, wow.
In all sincerity, this was the first time I saw the president face. No, second time, because the first time I was on the presidential perch and he was far away. I saw him. That was actually the second time I saw face to face. I always say to people that, look, in as much as we're supposed to chase ambitions or money, someone will say to me, is your money lost? What are you chasing? I believe in the attraction by the power of substance. If it's relevant, why not? This is a letter that was actually put together by the office, very convincing letter. We dispatched to the Jubilee House and just waited. We had a reply. We put everything in place. And the next letter we had said he
Confirming.
would not be able to come on this day. So we had to take all billboards down. So it's the power of ambition. I thought it was the maiden edition.
No. Please say it again.
Exactly. So we had him, he confirmed. The next letter we had from the president's office, it was actually to tell us he wasn't going to be, due to some unforeseen reasons, he wasn't going to be able to make it. So it was just a day's difference. You know, how were we supposed to communicate this to the thousands of people we sent the letters across to? How were we able to do this with all of the billboards that were erected? We had to bring everything down. My staff said to me, Madam, some of my staff, Madam, I think we can forget it. There are other big wigs. I said, no, which big wig can be equal to the president?
The first gentleman of the
this
land.
is very important for us. I believe in branding. I believe in good brand communication. And I think it made a whole difference when we ensured that we adjusted to the available date of the president, and it was very much worth it.
Chai! Rashida Saani, if you could have a dinner date with 3 business icons, dead or alive, who would they be and why? Dead or alive? 3 business people you admire so much. Who would you?
They say we're supposed to patronize made in Ghana goods.
Okay, yes. So maybe give me 3 from Ghana and then 3 from abroad.
There are a number of business people in Ghana I have read on. I typically would take the pen to read about people, whether you are trolled in your business or you're celebrated in your business. I would rather not mention the Ghana one because there are quite a number of people I wouldn't be able to mention. But currently, I think I'm very much in love with the innovativeness, the power of the practicality and sheer unadulterated business acumen of international people like Elon Musk. And I very much critically follow him, and I admire his style of business. And back home in Ghana, there are quite a number of really great business women and men I follow and read very much about as well.
Wow.
And read very much about.
So no name dropping.
Well. No name dropping.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into another one. What's your leadership philosophy like? How do you adapt your style to attract and retain top talents in your businesses?
My philosophy has been pretty practical and not entirely a deviation from the acceptable norms that will necessitate or ignite business growth. Like I mentioned earlier, of course, you've got to be disciplined to be able to maintain a business. You've got to be strategic to be able. Strategy is very important in business. So discipline and making sure that we are consistent, making sure that we add value to our area of business, I think has propelled us and is helping us sustain the heights we have charted. Indeed, with regard to staff, I try as much as possible to be the leader that I'm supposed to be. I'm a firm believer of improving underperformance.
Okay.
I beg to tell you that throughout my life as an entrepreneur, I started over 15 years ago, I've never had to sack a single staff of mine.
Wow.
I believe in improving underperformance. We'll live together, we'll fight until you grow or until you want to leave or throw your hands in despair and leave.
We're in this together.
So for most people, I do not work with anymore. They left, I never sacked them.
Wow.
As much as possible, I don't force you in a hole you don't belong. If you're not doing well there, I simply just change your position and ensure that you flourish or thrive there.
Wow.
So,
let's look at the fan side of Rashida. Well, you're already fan. I mean, this interview is not your typical CEO conversation. So yes, this has been fan talk all through and through. But it's also said that every successful entrepreneur has got that one wild idea that people around there will doubt, and then will end up being a hit. You mentioned one as being the Wache idea.
Yeah.
Which other one are you either working on cooking or is radio you've done and you've not talked about?
I have quite a number of businesses.
Wild ideas. I'm talking about the crazy one. When people hear it around you, they go like, Rashida, stop it. Because we know you will do it.
I've thought about quite a number. Because look, there are so many people who are doing very well in Ghana. When you think about the likes of Despite, he sells salt as well, doesn't he? there is money. It doesn't have to be a capital intensive. I have a feeling the little things bring the most money.
True.
As a result of the mass market it appeals to. If you opened a shop here and sold, let's say, Louis Vuitton bags, which was what I was advised by a few friends when I was about to open watch. Louis Vuitton, I said Louis Vuitton is going to be, Louis Vuitton watch it is going to be, because I would typically take into consideration the location. Really? You think people would drive by there are thinking about Louis? No, of course. And how many people are actually going to be acquiring this on a daily basis? So I believe in the mass market.
That's right.
I believe in the little things that trickle money on a daily basis.
That's right.
Which is why I love to get involved in essentials, which is why we are into real estate as well.
That's right.
When I built my first house, I was gobsmacked when someone came to take it for $500. I had never rented a home, so I was like, are you kidding? $500? That's just so much money to where I wouldn't rent. Even as I sit now, I wouldn't be able to do that. It would hurt me. I said $500, and that was what just catapulted me into real estate.
That's for rent?
And yes.
The person took that for a month.
For $500. But today, where people are paying $3,000.
How many years ago?
And $2,000. Well, depending on the location and the kind of property we're talking about. So it sort of propelled us into real estate, and we grew and we got here with a manageable portfolio that's doing well as part of the affiliates as well.
If someone is venturing or is probably considering relocating to Ghana and approaches you about areas you would give them an honest advice to venture into with their capital, what would that be?
In all instances, whether Ghana or abroad, the rule remains the same in investment. Look, essentials are very important. If you take a critical look at the matrix of business success, you'll find real estate, you would find hospitality, you would find entertainment.
Cosmetics.
So, exactly. So at all times, I sit back to think about the mass market. It does not make a difference if you want to cling on to a particular niche market, qualitative niche market. It does not make a difference at all. But I very much believe in something that will bring revenue on a daily basis, consistent revenue, something that won't go out of date, So essentials such as food, very important. Essentials such as real estate, very important, even though on a bigger scale. But there are so many people who are agents. You do not necessarily have to own a real estate to own a real estate company. There are so many agents. Until recently, by the power of technological advancements, we depended on agents. Oh, do you know anyone who wants to take up my home or my apartment? And that has been how it's been until we took advantage of technological advancements of booking online and all of that.
Wow. 4:48 p.m. is the time, and we're just having conversation with Rashida Saani. And congratulations again on winning the Industry Spotlight's Private Sector Awards.
Thank you.
The recently held Women's Choice Awards Africa 2024. That's after many other. This year has been more of the awards recognitions for you. I mean,
not really. This year, I think that has been my first.
How about the 40 and the 40? Or you just...
Oh, 40 and the, oh, how? 40 and the, I just went as a speaker of the 40
okay. Okay. See me.
That was when I saw it, I was like, I said to myself, I can't believe it. Today, and exactly, is it going to be a football age or something? So I said to myself, unbelievably, in no time, I become a speaker on the platforms of 40 under 40.
I remember when he came, when he started, you were one of the...
I received quite a number of awards on the 40 under 40 as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one, fun questions. We have less than 10 minutes to wrap the conversation up. It's been almost an hour already. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And I've not even asked my folks on Facebook to send their questions through. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The truth.
The truth?
Yes, sir.
And who gave that to you?
All the time, I have the power of accepting. It's very important. If you're climbing as a young person in life, I think the best of things you can pray for in your life is to attract people who will tell you the absolute and blatant truth. Not sycophants or people who will tell you what you want to hear. I do not believe that. I love people who tell me the blatant truth.
All right.
The blatant truth told the right way.
Okay.
Because as much as possible, we see people tell the truth, but they go to tell it on Facebook.
It's true. It's true.
So
when they know they were just on WhatsApp with you,
they can speak to you. You know.
All right.
So typically, I won't mind people like that.
Right.
But if you tell it to me, it's very important for me, and I hold you in high esteem when you do that.
If you had to describe yourself in one hashtag, what would that be? One hashtag.
The Rashida.
The Rashida. I like that. I like that. Okay.
Rashida.
If your children would have to describe you one hashtag, what do you think they would say?
The Rashida on a daily basis. My children, I don't know, as part of their curriculum, self-devised curriculum, Googling me has become part of their curriculum.
No way.
Trust me. And on a daily, they will get back to me. I saw this, oh, congratulations, this happened. So I do not even bother speaking to them about thrives anymore. They get to find out, and they're very enthused and inspired about that as well.
How do you know if they want something from you?
My children, they say
They start throwing fans.
Oh, they say it to me, but in as much as sometimes they praise and I say to them, what do you want?
Exactly.
But they just say it as a...
Is it Mama watch it? The Rashida
No, they don't.
See you,
children of today, no. They will send you a simple message of buying a guitar as if it were tomatoes.
Something you pick off.
Exactly.
All right. The most unusual perk you offer your employees?
My employees, I think on a monthly basis, it's a special perk.
Oh, so it changes?
I believe in incentivization.
Okay.
I believe in a sense of belonging on the part of my team members. I do not use the I language. I very much do me. I very much do we. You know, we have this, we have that. So for all of my staff, there's this strong bond. There is a sense of belonging. Everyone justifies their inclusion. And they all know that payments are not based on certificates you put forward. It's strictly based on productivity. So you can have a first degree and earn more than someone who may have had a PhD.
Wow.
Or
based on performance.
I tell you what, my current admin in the office was picked from a restaurant. Today, I'll tell you, he does amazing. He's the head of admin in the company, but he started 10 years ago with me, or about 11 years ago with me.
Wow.
And he's doing amazingly well. Such a person, would you say you're going to pay him based on his certificate? No, because he's been with me for so long. And as much as I believe he could get out there to seek certifications, you know, but he decided to stay with me, probably because of the time. And I can't pay him the same way I would pay someone who just slapped a PhD certificate with no productivity. So I pay based on productivity.
That's nice. Well, since you're talking about payments, since employees issues are popping up as we prepare to wrap up, what is it with Ghanaian business owners and complaining about their employees who are Ghanaians not taking work seriously as foreigners they engage for the same space? There has been this ongoing debate around more business owners considering cheaper labor from outside, who will not give you the excuses of, oh, me kwa sorry and I'm a program, me kwa yi and me mama honton whilst they shut your business down.
This is exactly the reason why some people think they must put you through pain before you get through to the better days once you are employed with them. And I subscribe to that because once people get pampered, they lose their sense of thought. They lose their pattern of thought. It's happened a lot, especially with young people in our part of the world. There is no thirst because, I mean, a few days ago, my domestic staff just said to me, I get tired. And I took it consideration of what she did, and I said, oh, if you stay on the job you will die, then I suggest you go home to rest. And that was how I booted her out of my home. So I think the power, this is a home, your room looks like a hotel.
Wow.
You eat for free, you get paid like us. I make sure I do not pay my domestic staff like other people do. I don't, not even 1,000 cedis or 1,500, they earn more than that because of what they do in my house. So I make them think, I say to them, look, you work like you work in MTN or a bank or sort of, you know. So I am not unfair to them. I expect them to be fair. But the power of over-pampering them just makes people typically
they're too comfortable.
Just so comfortable, and they lose their sense of thirst and ambition and so much more. As for that, if we begin to talk about it, I think it's going to take another 2 hours.
A whole show on its own.
Even on Alhaji's wife, you know, it was such a difficult task for me. On who? Motor riders. give them food, and they do galamsey before they finally deliver people's food to them. And as far as buyers are concerned, or customers are concerned, they came from a large one. So I had to
outsource?
Just outsource it to other people. And as we speak at the moment, they're like pilots. They're very difficult to come by. So it tells you how difficult it is. I have all the motorbikes, but you can't even get people to employ because you give them the food and they think they
first
should
week they are doing so well, second week and then
exactly. So
the journey from East Legon and Alaji's wife by the time on an Amkaswao.
And I have quite a number of friends who say to me, look, the problem with our part of the world is not just with leadership, it's with the attitude of young people. So there's a complete attitude and change. But I think it's also leadership is to blame at largely for this as well, because if there are no punitive punishments for minor offenses, people do not stand on their feet. And the rest is history.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely need to be doing a part 2 of this conversation. But it's been fun talks with you today. Want to say big thanks for showing up. We didn't believe that Giovani, I'm in trouble. Is it Giovani in trouble? Giovani, meetings no doors. But we're glad you made it here. Let me take just 3 comments of our Facebook page, and then we'll take your final words for the news to come through at 5. Nee Ashley, I see you. And also Nicodemus says, good evening, thanks for your presentation. Really enjoying the convo. And also Sofiq Islam says, feels great listening to you. Harriet Enchi says, I'm inspired by you, Rashida. Great conversation, Giovani. 3FM Drive, you do all. This one says, I was at a job fair, and I must say the thoughts that went into putting a show or an event like this. Point of correction, it's not an event. 16 days, no be one event. No be small. Please, Giovani, please ask her if she replicate this in other parts of the country. Accra alone is not Ghana.
Well, it was decentralized, I would like to say. We invited people from various places. Kumasi, we had people from villages who joined us as well.
Okay.
So, and it's going to be replicated. The next stop is going to be Kumasi. Okay. And this is not just going to be the end of it. Subsequently, we're going to be doing it annually.
All right. So that's it. And big thanks going out to Syntax Tank. Strong, tough. Is the same price everywhere. Different colors, different sizes. Go on to syntaxgh.com and grab yours. Very affordable for all homes. It's been 25 years and over, being Ghana's #1 water tank or water storage solution, from 100 to 25,000 liters. And we're saying that just come do business. Very reliable, time-tested industrial containers and tanks. For your domestic use or industrial use, visit our pages and nominate your community for our free water distribution. Rashida, Saani, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me, Giovani.
Yes. Your final words, remarks, anything?
I wouldn't die. I wouldn't die now. Thank you very much for listening to us. I truly appreciate it. And if you're a young person listening to me, it's not over yet until it's over. If you've tried it and it's not working, try other things. And please, do not hesitate to get in touch with me.
That's right. Thank you. Well, on social media?
On social media.
Let's have your handles on social media.
I've had quite a number of people get in touch. They DM and I give them the requisite.
That's right.
Know-how and crafts on business setups. In some cases, we've actually helped people set up their businesses. The recent one was the Bulare one, where the mentorship program. Exactly, where we give out 30,000 CDs to someone who had a great impact on some kind of business she was engaged in that affected women. And annually, we've made this very impactful, and we've made it as part of a part of our social responsibility. I'm sorry, I'm blabbing because of the time.
That's okay.
To ensure that we impact on businesses and one business at a time. We believe that, and in the form of advice or funding support, we do that. So it didn't just end at the jobs fair.
Wonderful.
We do this all the time. Thank you.
Alfredo Kanse and the team are already on standby to bring us news of 5. Thank you so much, Rashida, once again. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right.